Asics Metaspeed, a shoe designed for cadence runner, a lightweight, responsive, race day super shoes. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to have my first impression review on this Asics Metaspeed H Paris, a lightweight racer shoes designed for cadence runner. Let's see how the shoes look like. Before we start, disclaimer, this pair of shoes is purchased by my own money, 1,029 ringgit. No one sent it to me or give these shoes for me. All the opinion and review you watch on this video is my own opinion. There's a timeline below. Feel free to move around on which chapter that you want to watch it. Let's start with some numbers of the shoes. At the heel here is 39.5mm, at the forefoot here is 34.5mm. Make the shoes 5mm drop, and there's one carbon fiber plate inside the shoes, and the shoes is very rigid. For the upper, using the Motion Wrap 2.0, is a very ventilated see-through upper, and the form they're using the FF Turbo Plus, a much more lightweight and responsive form. It's totally an upgrade shoes from a previous session, the H Plus. For the grip, using the Asics grip, it's a very grippy type of material that used by most of the Asics shoes. Overall, the shoe fit true to size. There's not much room to wiggle around, especially the toe box area. It's not really that stretchable, but it's very ventilated. If you're a wide foot runner, better try on the shoes before you purchase online, or you better go to the boutique and try on it. For me, I go half size up from my usual size 11 to 11.5, because on my racing shoes I prefer have a bit roomy over here, especially go for a marathon with this pair of shoes. So I prefer always there's some room for my toe to rest on it. For the arch area, you can see the shoes a bit tapered down on the arch area here, and my feet is a medium arch, and I rest really comfortable at the arch area here. The carbon fiber plate for the H series is much more lower to the ground compared to the Sky version, are much more near to the forefoot. So that means there's much more form on the forefoot here. Let's have a look on the upper itself. The upper using the Motion Wrap 2.0 is a very ventilated, see-through, lightweight upper. If you can see, if I put my remote inside the shoes, basically you can see the remote moving inwards of the shoe itself. You can see the motion of the remote control itself. It's a very ventilated and very breathable upper. I did try the shoes running on the wet weather. The first try on the shoes is on the wet weather. The upper is not taking any of the water that I splash on it. It's not absorbing any water, so it's very ventilated and it's a very lightweight upper. So at the front here, there's some sort of collar protector on the forefoot here. It's not that much, it's bendable, but it's not really that hard or too soft. It's just nice amount of material on the toe protective area. When we're moving backwards of the shoe, the same Motion Wrap all the way to the back of the shoe is very ventilated and see-through. For the lace, nowadays everyone using this kind of lace with some teeth on the lace. Is very nice to have a very nice long down of the shoes, and the lace is not really that long or too short, and it has a very thin layer of the tongue, and it's a bit hole over here, and it's a very thin layer of tongue and very breathable. And moving backwards over here, there's some of the padding on the heel collar, just the right amount of padding for a racing shoes. And for the heel collar here, it's not really that hard, but there's enough structure support for the heel collar. If you see from inside, you can even see some of the hole on the heel collar to reduce some of the weight of the shoes, to help to reduce the weight. So overall, the upper is very breathable. For the midsole, it's using the FF Turbo Plus. It's an upgrade version from the previous version, the Meta H Plus, using the FF Turbo, but this time you're using a FF Turbo Plus. It's a very bouncy, soft and responsive foam. So for the foam here is a two piece of material because there is a carbon fiber plate inside. And for the edge, the carbon fiber plate are much more lower to the ground. So you can see between the limelight and the black color here, there is the carbon fiber plate located. It's more to like a spoon type of carbon fiber plate all the way to the bottom. This kind of carbon plate let me remind of one shoes, that is the Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 2. Same type of carbon fiber plate that spoon down to the more lower to the ground and give much more responsive of the shoes. So same as the edge, but there is much more foam between the carbon fiber plate to the ground, and there's much more thicker foam at the forefoot here. For the outsole of the shoes is not really that wide, but it's quite stable. If you compare to the Next Percent are much more wider, and these shoes are not really that wide, but it's really stable. So for here, using the Asics grip as the rubber for the grip, and there is one white color Asics grip on the back here to protect the shoes. It's just nice to have a rubber from front all the way to the heel side, because when I run, I will land on this area. So it's good and it's nice to have a rubber along this way, so that the shoes, the foam can be protecting so that the shoes and the foam can be protected by the rubber when I land on this area. If you see from the back of the shoes, you can see some of the cutout of the FF Turbo Plus in the middle here. I think this is more to weight saving. If you see on the arch, you can see the middle here is a bit tapered down on the arch area. If you are flat footer, better try on these shoes because it's already tapered down on the arch area. For the Asics grip, it's not really that thick because this is a racing shoes. It's not meant for daily mileage. So a very thin layer of rubber is just enough for a pair of racer shoes. And the grip on the wet surface is really amazing. Before we continue further, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and like and comment or share this video. It will help this channel a little bit. So let's continue. Let's start with what I like about the shoes. The first one definitely is the foam itself, the FF Turbo Plus. Previously, I'm using the Asics Super Plus. Is using the FF Turbo. I really like the shoes. It's very bouncy and response. Even up to 800 km, the shoes still kicking. So for me, the FF Turbo Plus, once I pick up for my first run, is more like a negative speed run. When I'm going faster and faster, up to 4-minute pace, the shoes came alive. The responsive, the bounciness from the foam is really nice. Next definitely is the weight of the shoes. 213 grams for size US 11.5. Definitely is one of my lightest running shoes in my wardrobe right now. And you have a huge stack height with a carbon fiber plate and very breathable upper. Definitely I really love on the weight itself. Third definitely is the upper, the breathable and not retain any water on the upper, as well as here the padding. For the remaining upper, it not retain any water. I try run on the wet day, the shoes not retain any water and dry out really quickly, and it's very breathable around the shoes. I can feel the wind, the breeze go in to the shoes when I'm running on it. It's a very helpful thing, especially when we run full marathon using these shoes. You're sweating and dripping around, and the shoes will be very wet and very heavy. So these features is definitely a plus. The fourth is the stability of the shoes. The shoe with such a huge stack height on the front and the forefoot here, the shoes is pretty stable when I try run on it. Even on the wet weather, I try to go with a fast corner, the shoes able to handle it and really stable. It doesn't feel wobbling around when running with just a high stack height. The last one is the lockdown of shoes. The last one is the lockdown of the shoes. The heel lockdown, the lace lockdown, everything is very secure when locked down on the shoes. The shoes doesn't feel like want to came off from my feet when I try to put pressure when running fast on the shoes itself. With all the light, and there's some dislike about the shoes. The first one definitely is the choice. The edge or the sky. It took me some time to think and find research and test out the shoes, see which one I want to choose, the edge or the sky. Even I'm a stride runner and I choose a cadence shoes, it took me a while to think, see is this really suitable for me, or I need to go to the sky. Maybe in the next future I will try and buy one sky and try it myself. For now, I will stick with the edge itself. The second dislike is the synthetic tongue. The tongue itself. I think the tongue should have some padding rather than just one piece of synthetic here. For my first run, it doesn't feel any problem, but I think when I go for a much more longer run, especially race, some padding on the tongue might help a bit rather than without any padding. How I test the shoes on my first run. My first run, I bring the shoes out for a very short 5 km run from a very slow pace up to 4-minute pace on this pair of shoes. So the shoes react differently when I'm running on it, and that time is raining and the floor is wet, so I can test out is it grippy on the shoes itself. So I test it from a slow 5-minute pace all the way to 4 minutes. I did try go a bit slower on walking with the shoes. The shoes since not designed for walking, the shoes designed for running, especially when you go faster and faster. When you go to hit 4-minute pace, the shoes really came alive and really popping really fast. For the grip, when I try run on the water and the white line on the tarmac, the shoes didn't slip at all and we really grip on the floor and go to the next step. This is one of the Asics grip that I really like about. Why I choose edge over sky? My first thing is because of the placement of the plate, the response, the feeling from the shoes that I get from the edge is not able to get from the sky. The sky have a much more straightforward plate and much more upper from the ground. There's much more form between the shoes, the bottom of shoes to the plate. Meanwhile, for the edge has much more lesser form between the plate and the ground itself, so I can feel the plate more. This is the feeling that I really like when I'm using the Next% tool. That's why I want 3 pair of these shoes. This is the shoes remind me of that shoes that I love the most. So when I run on it, I can feel it. When I compress it, I can feel the plate. This more or less of the ride of the plate. Even though I'm a stride runner, but I'm trying on the cadence shoes because I like the plate. Maybe next time I will try on the sky. I purchase one of the sky and test. Is it really suitable for me? But for now, I'm going to stick with the edge, and this is my reason. For who should not get the edge Paris? If you're looking for a daily trainer or shoes that can do everything, this is not a shoe for it, because this is a racing shoes and it's not comfortable when I try to run on a slower pace. For who should get the edge Paris? If you're looking for a lightweight, responsive, race ready shoes, definitely you should try the Asics Paris. Definitely it will fit into my rotation shoes, it will fit into my race day shoes, and will be replacing my Vaporfly because the Vaporfly has been retired. So definitely will fit in. I will run it and try it more on my next review. So that's all for my first impression review on this Metaspeed Asics Paris. So see you guys on the next video. Bye.